So the factors affecting this transmission, including the force of unbalanced transmission through the movement of labor is limited in world economy. That will not cause worldwide inflation or recession. As described before, in the international exchange of goods or international capital flows. But in individual countries, the impact can be significant, sometimes causing the international problems, such as the fate of the um, Turkish worker in Germany, which affect the relations between the two countries. And it's still meaningful to analyze the factors affecting the transmission mechanism of international labor flow. The relative factors, including the quantity and the quality of the floating labor force. In the quantity, the structure and the quality of outflow labor force are important factors affecting the transmission mechanism of the flow. If the size of the outflow of labor is large and the quality is low, exporting countries are more vulnerable to the economic fluctuation of other countries. The remittance of the labor and the lower wage. On the contrary, if the exported labor force is limited and highly qualified, the employment of these people in a foreign country will be more stable. And the exporting country will not be affected by the economic fluctuation of the importing countries. Most of these immigrations are highly skilled, and even if the economy of the labor importing countries encounters difficulties, most of most of them will not be hired and return to the labor exporting countries due to the characteristic of the sectors and the hierarchical structure for their employment. And the second factor is the employment structure of the labor force exported by a country in foreign country. If a country's labor output quantity is huge, the industry that output labor is in belongings to other parties crucial branch or basic branch. Because those branches belongs to the branches that the country supports, and its products and allowance or objects that buys for the country. That suffered because in the recession effect is lesser. The effect that exporting countries suffers the international conduction also can be smaller. If the output labor force is large, and the department that is staying in the construction industry, shipping industry, and other sectors which are greatly affected by economic cycle. And then the exporting country is easily affected by the economic fluctuation of the importing countries. The next is the income gap between the different countries. If the greater the degree of openness of the flow of people in the world, the greater wage difference between the countries. The more the more frequent the international flow of the labor, and the easier the transmission of economic imbalance through the international flow of labor. However, if this unbalanced process of labor transmission also includes the trends of narrowing international difference in the labor income. The greater the flow volume um, of the international flow, the more obviously this trend will be, and the more obvious the effect will be on the unbalanced transmission. The develop the fourth is the structural department structure of the labor force. The greater the degree of openness, the more foreign labor in a country accepts, the more important the sector, and the more vulnerable is it to the labor mobility. On the contrary, a fewer the fewer foreign labor accepted by a country, the less important the placement sector is, and thus less affected the country is by the foreign economic fluctuations transmitted by the international flow of labor. It even can even adjust the domestic economy by adjusting the number of foreign labor. The next is the substitutability of the labor force. That is, the, whether the labor force can be substituted one with others by other labor force. For the labor exporting countries, the large output of the high quality, high educated labor is equivalent to giving up the investment in training this part of the population, especially when these people are exported as permanent immigrants. And if this part of population is irreplaceable, it will have further negative impact on the development of domestic economy. This is the case with current brain drain from the developing countries. The importing country of high quality labor force thus gets the manpower investment of the exporting countries and obtains the special skills of this part of the population. And today, the people of high intelligence means of the innovation and new productivities means more production and productivities in the future. And they are the representative of future productivity, and therefore their flows are deterministic for both the inflow countries and the outflow countries. Especially is not beneficial for the outflow countries because those high quality labor's productivity cannot serve that exporting country, outflow country economy anymore. Rather, instead, it is transmitted to the inflow country. Last is policies of labor import and export of labor force. Those policies include encouraging or restricting the export of domestic labor, encouraging or restricting the employment of foreign labor in particular industries in the country, controlling the amount of remittance of income received by foreign workers, and controlling the naturalization of foreign workers, and so on. For example, considerable number of developing countries restrict the outflow of their senior talents, and stipulating the graduates of their institution of higher learning obliged to serve the states for a certain period of time. The purpose of these measures is to enable the advanced labor force needed by the country to stay at home and use these special skills to serve the country's construction.